Say here, if you come to Citrix architecture components, we have Zen app and Zen desktop. And prior to Zen app, the name is Citrix Metaframe Server, then Presentation Server. The Presentation Server itself have been renamed to Zen app. Then they have Zen desktop also. So two different solutions. One is for application virtualization. Second one is desktop virtualization. Then in 7.x, Citrix has decided to integrate both the solutions into single point of solution. Okay, say in the 7.x, Citrix has been integrated both Zen app and Zen desktop into single solution. What is the main advantage with this is both have been unified into single solution. Administration is very easy. Administration is easy. Otherwise, we need to manage Zen app from Zen app console, like maybe App Center it used to call. Zen desktop we used to manage from the Zen desktop console. Two different admin consoles, two different products. That's little like a challenging kind of thing for the administration wise. That is the reason Citrix has decided to merge both the solutions into single point of solutions. So now those are called as Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops. They have renamed that into Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, and formally that is known as Zen App and Zen Desktop. But previously two different products, but Citrix have been unified both the solutions into single solution. What is the main advantage we are going to get with this?
Administration will
Yeah,
be
unified administration. Both we can administrate from a single kind of product itself. Okay, so that is even architecture wise also we have a lot of benefits. Okay, so then what is the main features of Citrix virtual app and desktop is the virtual applications can be delivered, desktops can be delivered from the single product. Previously, Citrix Zen app and Zen desktop itself they called initial versions, but now it is called as virtual apps and desktops. Virtual apps and desktops. So now here we can deliver virtual apps, we can deliver virtual desktops also we can deliver. Both are part of VDI itself. Both are the part of VDI. We are going to deliver the virtual apps and the virtual desktops from the Citrix wise. Okay, so now here we are going to deliver virtual applications and desktops in a secure, flexible, and efficient manner. Any device, anywhere, any connection, the desktops or applications can be delivered. Anywhere, any device, any connection. Okay, so Citrix can deliver applications. So that is the main advantage of Citrix. Okay, so then say here if you see end users can run the applications and desktops independent of the device operating system and interface. I said right, any device, any connection, anywhere, and the cheapest way of delivering the desktops also is possible. Okay, and user experience is very like a better user experience. User, lot of people doesn't get like they're running remote applications or desktops. That kind of user experience would be delivered to the users and very secure. It's a very secure way of delivering the desktops also is possible and easy to administrate by the administrators. So we no need of thousands of desktop admins or network admins, system admins, server admins we not required. So the overall administrators also can be reduced by using virtual apps and desktops. So maybe what may be the one limitation we have we can tell is offline access is not possible. So with the Citrix, one of the challenge or what I can tell is offline access. So what is the meaning of offline access?
Meaning no internet.
Yeah, not only internet, maybe if you don't have the network connectivity. Okay, say in the enterprise environment, not mandatory internet itself. If you don't have the network connectivity, okay, we can't connect to those apps and desktops. In the 6 and 6.5 they tried for offline access, but I don't think in 7.x they have not started supporting. In Zenap 6 and 6.5, they used streaming profiler kind of concepts in order to give the app virtualization offline access. Okay, so that we can tell as the limitation. But compared to other VDA solutions, Citrix is very powerful. Okay, architecture term wise, in Zenap, the administration of the Zenap architecture having IMA. IMA is the Zenap Architecture Administrator kind of technology, stands for Independent Management Architecture. Say IMA stands for Independent Management Architecture. In the Zenap 6 and 6.5, we have this architecture component. Okay, say in 7.x, we don't have only Zenap, we have Zen Desktop also. They have introduced FMA. We don't have IMA in 7.x. We have FMA. FMA stands for FlexiCast Management Architecture. Definitely, we need to differentiate. The differences between IMA versus FMA is nothing but what are the differences with 6.5 and 7.x itself. That means if someone asks about IMA versus FMA is nothing but architecture wise, what are the changes between 6.5 to 7.x? In 7.x, we have FMA, FlexiCast, management, architecture. As the name suggests FMA, we have the flexibility to administrate both the products into single kind of administration. Okay, so now here, as FlexiCast is unified architecture we have. That means both have been merged into this. Architecture wise also, both the products have been unified. Okay, so multiple versions of the Citrix applications, other Citrix products also easy to integrate. Previously, all are isolated. Inte Integration wise, we got some difficulties, but with the FMA, we have been integrated both the solutions. Okay, so deeply we'll discuss going forward FMA versus IMA, what are the changes we have, or 6.5 to 7.x, what are the architecture changes we have. And in the FMA, we are going to use multiple versions of the applications, desktops, all these as a single kind of product we are going to manage. Okay, so then what are the products we have or architecture components we have? We'll discuss. And mostly IMA used to work with the port numbers 2512 and 2513. Say IMA uses the port numbers 2512 and 2513. FMA mostly is using 443 for the security wise. 443 port it is using. Okay, so then ICA, say we have IMA is there previously, but ICA, even in 7.x also we are using ICA, which is a proprietary protocol of Citrix. That means others can't use this protocol. Lot of patents have been there with the Citrix itself. Independent Computing architecture. Independent computing architecture is one of the powerful presentation layer protocol. In order to deliver desktops and applications, we are going to use ICA protocol. Some may be called as ICA also. ICA is a very powerful presentation layer protocol. Okay, in XenApp, IMA is used for server administration level. ICA is used to deliver the applications to the users. In Zen Desktop also they have used ICA itself. Now even in 7.x also, administration wise they have changed to FMA, but applications and desktops have been delivered through ICA itself. ICA stands for Independent Computing Architecture, and the port numbers used for ICA is 1494, and there is one more session reliability feature called as 2598. 1494 and 2598. So these all the port numbers used by ICA. 1494, and we have one session reliability 2598. So now here Microsoft having Microsoft having the protocol is RDP. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol.
Protocol
Okay, port number is
3389.
3389. Okay,
89.
so here 3389 is the port number for RDP protocol. Microsoft wise, like a port is protocol is RDP, and at the server level, what they have is RDS, remote desktop services. Remote desktop services we have. Okay, but the main challenge with the RDP is there is compared to ICA, there is no security, performance, and mm, the features of ICA we are not matching with the RDP. There is no security, consistency, more bandwidth is required compared to ICA. ICA works in even very latency networks also. In the latency networks also, ICA is going to work. Okay, so these all the advantages by comparing RDP versus ICA is nothing but here we are comparing Microsoft versus Microsoft versus Citrix itself.
Citrix.
Okay, so but which is very powerful?
Citrix.
Citrix, because here if we go for the Windows server, already we have multi-user environment, even applications also we can deliver using ICA, but it's nowhere near to Citrix ICA protocol. RDP they have used, but on top of RDS, Citrix has delivered all these products. Okay, so what is this meaning is, whenever we are using Citrix in the backend, definitely on the server level, what we required is, on the server level, what we required, RDS is mandatory. Okay, so RDS stands for remote desktop, remote desktop
Service.
services. Prior it's called as terminal services. Prior it's called as the terminal services, but now it's called as remote desktop services. What is the purpose of remote desktop services is to deliver
Remote access.
multi-user version of Windows. RDS will enable multi-user version of Windows. That means multiple people can simultaneously can access that Windows server. On top of that, even we can deliver applications also. Users are going to connect it through RDP. RDP is the client protocol, uses the port number 3389. But if we want to support multi-user version on the Windows, we need to enable RDS. And even for the RDS, they have licenses also is required. Those are called as RDS CALs. CALs stands for Client Access Licenses. One, why I'm explaining RDS is, okay, Citrix, like any of the Zen app or maybe virtual app and desktop, okay, uses RDS. On top of that, Citrix products will work. Zen app or virtual app and desktop uses the Citrix RDS on the server level, but they don't use RDP protocol. Citrix have their own products on the server level, and the protocol level they have ICA. These enhancements will give the lot of security, lot of consistency, performance, even works in the low latency kind of networks. That is the reason Citrix has become the leader. Okay, so Microsoft and Citrix are working very collaboratively with the Citrix. Even Microsoft server licenses, all that also they will also generate the revenue, almost like a sister companies. Microsoft and Citrix strategically, like they will move, they will depend on each other. Okay, it's not only now, even from 1989, they're they're moving and not allowing others to come into this market. Okay, but what is today you need to understand is, definitely Citrix RDS is mandatory. Sorry, Microsoft RDS is mandatory for the Citrix virtual app and desktop. Previously, even for Zen app also, terminal services are remote desktop services are mandatory. Okay, RDP we no need to use because already Citrix having very powerful protocol. One word what I can tell regarding the ICA is, if Microsoft has acquired ICA, then there is no company called Citrix, because everyone have everything, but the protocol is making the difference. It's very powerful protocol. Okay, so then VMware also, we have the VMware View, right? Then what is the protocol used by VMware View? What is the VMware View protocol? So in the VMware View Horizon,
RDS is the remote desktop application.
no, previously we have PCO IP.
PCYP VMware Blast.
Yeah, so VMware also, initially they use PCO IP. What is
Yeah,
PCO IP is PCO over Internet Protocol. I think that is 60443 is the port number. 604. Then this is not a VMware proprietary protocol. VMware proprietary protocol. There is a company called as TerraDC. What is the company? TerraDC is
Teradis.
the company. TerraDC has developed the PCOIP protocol, and except Citrix, others doesn't have the protocol to deliver the desktops remotely. That is the reason VMware View have been used PCOIP protocol. Not only VMware View, for a lot of other third-party vendors also, TerraDC will give that protocol. Okay, but it's not proprietary. If someone acquired that company, then VMware those also may get some issues. But later VMware View has delivered their own kind of protocol also they have delivered. Okay, so but mostly PCOIP. Say now here performance wise, security wise, look and feel, all those ICA. Okay, then PCOIP, then we have the RDP. Okay, so PCOIP, RDP. So like this we can differentiate. Okay, any doubts? Any doubts on this?
No, Shrikant. Good.
Okay, so then architecture components. What are the components we have? We'll discuss. Yeah. So here this diagram shows most of the architecture components we have. So now here the end user wise, we may have some thousands of devices, and these thousands of devices maybe in the office we can have, or from the home, internet center, from the public devices, whatever it may be. So now on the end user side, we required user device, that's maybe any device is fine, and we need one small software. That software is called as workspace app. Okay, so what is that workspace app or Citrix receiver we required? On the client side, on your device, we need a small application. That application is called as Citrix workspace app. Citrix workspace app. Say here, try to understand. Say end users, end users will have Citrix, Citrix receiver we have. Okay, so then users can connect over internet, or they may have already their enterprise network they may have. Okay, they're connected to their enterprise network. That means they came to office. From there also they're going to connect. Okay, so if the users are connecting from internet, then they're going to use Netscaler, or the Netscaler itself is now called as, okay, the Netscaler itself is now called as Citrix Gateway. So now, if the users are connecting from their home over the internet, we have Netscaler or Citrix Gateway we have. Okay, if the users are connecting from office, mostly they will connect through storefront. How users are going to access our applications are, if the users are connecting through internet, they will access through Netscaler, or now it's called as Citrix Gateway. If the users are connecting from office, then they're going to use storefront. Then they're going to use the storefront. Okay, so then here, even if the users connected from the Citrix gateway also, it would be forwarded to storefront. In this diagram, we have only one storefront server we have, but in the real time, we will have multiple storefront servers. We'll have the multiple storefront servers, and from the storefront server to the main administration component is delivery controller. The Citrix, the main component is a delivery controller. What delivery controller will do, we'll discuss. In order to deliver or to provision the desktops or applications, user management, most of the administration will do from delivery controller. Then We have Studio. Studio is used for MMC based Microsoft Management Console. That means it's a administration tool. Most of the Citrix administrators will use the Studio in order to administrate most of our administration, printing, policies. Most of the administration will do through the Studio itself. Then, in order to manage a database, all those, we have SQL Server. Say if like all the data, all our Citrix like our form data or maybe all these site data, all these need to store in one database. For that purpose, we are going to use one SQL server also. In the real time, SQL server should be a dedicated server. That means not on the delivery controller. For the small environments, we can keep SQL Server also on the delivery controller. And what is your understanding of Studio? Studio is the administration console. Okay, say I'm talking about when I'm talking about Studio, I'm telling it's Microsoft Management Console base. Okay, MMC based console we have. But now in the newer releases, they have given web console also, web studio also they have given. That means we can administrate from the browser also. Okay, so what is the difference between web studio and storefront? Both are browser based only, right? The end users are going to access through storefront to receive the applications and desktops. What is web studio? To administrate your environment, to deliver, to create the catalogs or to assign the delivery groups, application groups, printing policies, all these we can administrate through either MMC based console studio, or recently they have given web studio also. Okay, then we have one more product called as director. Director is used for monitoring purpose. For the monitoring also is very important in the enterprise environments, in order to monitor the Citrix, like how the users are connecting, how the networking related, health of the form, all this information we can get it from the director. So hence we require good knowledge. Every day mostly we'll start our work from the director wise also. So that is the reason we require good expertise on director also. Okay, so then very important component we have is VDA. After controller, say controller is one of the component. VDA. Say here we have two types of VDAs. Virtual desktop agent. In Zen desktop, we used to call it as virtual desktop agent, but now that itself is called as virtual delivery agent. So now it's called as virtual delivery agent. If you want to deliver desktops or applications, definitely we can have, like we need to have virtual delivery agent. But here we have two types of operating systems. One is server class we required, desktop class we required. VDA is supported in both. In the server class means Windows Server 2016, 2019, like this 2022, these all the server class. Desktop class means Windows 10, Windows 11, like this desktop class also. Both have been supported by Citrix. So now that is the reason. If it is the server, then multi OS kind of thing, server VDS we are delivering, and desktop VDS. And most of these VDAs, these all the servers, whatever the components we have in the real time, not on the physical servers, mostly they don't reside. We are going to use one hypervisor. We are going to use one hypervisor. And Citrix is not an open source. In order to validate whether we have Citrix enough licenses or not, we are going to use the license server. So Citrix license server also is very important component. We need to validate whether we have the enough licenses or not. Do we have the enough licenses or not? We are going to verify through Citrix license server. We need to configure definitely license environment. If you don't have the license server in the real time, like we can't validate the licenses. If you purchase the licenses, even we have very high available solutions, even if the license server goes down also. Even if the license server goes down also, we have the solutions. And here one more Microsoft component very important for us is Active Directory. What is the concept of Active Directory is in order to authenticate and what are the desktops or applications the user has entitled, those things we will get from the Active Directory. What is the concept of Active Directory? Which of the desktops or applications the user has authorized, those details we are going to get it from the Active Directory. What we are going to do with the Active Directory is we need to create the users and groups, and while publishing our applications and desktops, we need to assign them to those users. Then Active Directory will store all this. So all these devices or servers should be part of domain. That is the reason even we required Active Directory is required. Active Directory is
Internal
required.
database.
Yeah. So here these all the components. I'll explain the enumeration process, but the main component is delivery controller. Previously in the Zen app server is called. In the Zen desktop again we have desktop controller used to have, but now that is called as delivery controller. Okay, so now the main component, the delivery controller, in order to administrate or central administration management, this is the mandatory component. Okay, so we don't keep only one delivery controller for the high availability and for high scalability. We are going to maintain multiple delivery controllers. That is the reason we don't have only one delivery controller. We will have more delivery controllers. It should be installed on one server in the data center, but we need to install more than one server. Okay, so then what it will do is it will distribute the applications and desktops. In order to deliver the desktops and applications, our controller is the main component. And whenever the application we are login, it will authenticate and it will manage the user access also. For the second step, controller will communicate with both database and it will communicate with the Active Directory also. Okay, it will communicate with the Active Directory and database and will authenticate and authorize which of the applications or desktops have been assigned to the user. And one more important service is it's going to do the communication brokering between users and desktops and applications. That means whenever the user is connecting to the applications or desktops, definitely communication brokering is required. That also done by delivery controller, and it will optimize user connections by using the policies, all those, and load balance the collections also. If one controller goes down also, all these have been taken care by delivery controller. Okay, so even while installing, while configuring, say we'll discuss more about these components. Okay, so the server component is the delivery controller, and which of the desktops or applications we need to deliver. On that what we required is a VDA is required. VDA, virtual delivery agent. Okay, so virtual delivery agent, on which of the desktops or applications which we need to deliver to those missions, on that we need to install VDA. The server component is delivery controller. And the which of the desktops, if you have 1,000 desktops need to be delivered to the user, in each and every desktop or server, we need to install virtual delivery agent. Okay, virtual delivery agent can be installed either in the physical mission or virtual missions. Now even in the cloud also, like maybe Citrix cloud or Azure cloud, AWS also is supported. In those also we can install VDA. Then those desktops have been available to the user. Okay, so now here try to understand VDA supported on two types of OS. VDA on server. VDA on server is nothing but multi-session OS. Multi-session OS. VDA on desktop class. This is single session OS. Okay, controllers mostly like it required only server class only. Controllers need to be installed on server sessions only, server OS only. But VDA we can install either on the single user session or multi-user session we are going to install. Either on the single user session or multi-user session we are going to install. Okay, so when we install the controller on the VDA on server, that's the same server can be given to multiple users. Okay, either as a desktop we can give, or the applications also we can give. Okay, if I install VDA on desktop, it's a single user session. Okay, so that means when we want to deliver the, say suppose assume I have 10,000 users are there in my company. If I go for VDA on server, I may no need to install 10,000 servers. Okay, so I may have only 100 servers I may have. Okay, those 100 servers I'm going to deliver to 10,000 sessions. Okay, in this VDA on server, I'm going to install on how many number of missions?
Only 100.
Only 100. That VDA on server we have installed on those 100 servers, and that 100 servers can be delivered to multi-session OS kind of thing, but the user experience is just like their own normal desktops itself, they will get it. No, I don't want like that. I want my own desktop kind of thing. Then we'll go for VDA on desktop also. Even if you want 10,000 desktops also, or 100 VDA on servers also, we no need to install multiple times. Okay, Citrix supports single instance management. What is the meaning of single instance management is, if you want to have hundreds VDA on servers or 10,000 VDA on desktops also, we no need to install 10,000 times or 100 times. Okay, say using the PVS or MCS, we can create, okay, only one time all those. Single instance management, it is called. With the provisioning services or mission creation services, one instance is going to be virtualized, or we can automate we using the image kind of concept into multiple servers or desktops. We can spin up, or we can launch from the single image. Okay, say single image or single instance itself we are going to manage. Okay, say creation, update, rollback, delete. All these we can do at the single instance management. Okay, so by using, we have Citrix having two technologies, PVS or MCS, whereas VMware View used to work with linked clone kind of concept. So VMware View used to work with the linked clone kind of concept, but here we have say either PBS or MCS. PBS is the oldest one, and from later they have integrated MCS also. But today, mostly people are using MCS, but we need to manage PBS also. Okay, what is the advantage in the PBS and MCS is single image management is possible. Creation, updates, rollbacks, deletion, all even if you have 10,000 devices, you can manage only one time. You can manage only one time we have. Okay. So that means VDA, while installing the VDA, we need to design architecture wise. Again, we need to go for either server class of delivery to the multiple users or personal kind of desktop need to be delivered to the users. Then already we discussed for the our for every one controller we no need of one database. Maybe for the form wise or site wise, at the group of all the controllers, we required one database is required. Mostly the database supported is SQL Server. In the real time, we need a dedicated clustered of SQL Server because high availability of the SQL Server also is very, very important. Even if the database goes down also, Citrix having one backup offline kind of solution for the database level called as localhost cache. So one of the very important architecture component of Citrix called as localhost cache. Okay, say in XenApp 6 and 6.5, we have localhost cache. In Zen Desktop, we don't have localhost cache. In the 7.x, in the initial versions, they didn't given the localhost cache. They have given connection leasing, but already people are Citrix users or Citrix admins are addicted to localhost cache. Hence, Citrix has given later in the versions of the virtual app and desktops, they have given localhost cache. What is the concept of localhost cache is if the controller lost connection to database. The controller has lost the connection to database. Even if the controller lost the connection to the database also, using localhost cache, apps and desktops can be delivered to the users. That means we shouldn't have any downtime even if the localhost cache, sorry, even if the controller and database connection is lost. Okay, so that is the purpose. We have the localhost cache. Business wise, we don't have any impact even if the
Connection breaks for
yeah,
control.
if the connection has been lost with the database. Okay, say initial versions of virtual app and desktop they have given
Connection leasing.
connection leasing. So definitely
Connection
we need to
leasing.
discuss the differences between connection leasing versus local host cache also. Okay, so then like even for the licensing wise also, say if you want to go for high availability SQL Server clustering we need to design, or we need to go for SQL Server database mirroring. Even for the production forms we will design like that. Okay, so but even if that goes down also, we have the localhost cache. And storefront user wise, like here the application flow or enumeration process flow is user may have a workspace app. Workspace app internal user is going to connect to storefront. Okay, on the client side, user can connect either from the workspace app or even from the browser also. Okay, I'm talking about the internal users, then storefront to Active Directory to controller. Controller will check with the database. Then again with the AD it comes to authorize. Then VDA. Okay, before delivering virtual desktops to the user, one component will comes into the picture. Any idea?
License manager.
License validation need to do. For that purpose, we are going to verify the license server. So we are going to verify the license server. Okay, we will like on top of VDA, controller will validate the license server whether we have the valid licenses or not. So here, which type of licenses will comes into the picture? So one is RDS CALs. Okay, RDS CALs, Citrix licenses. In some environments, we require one more license. Any idea? Some applications also may require the licenses, right? Those application licenses also we may require. Okay, so not only Citrix licenses, we required RDS CALs. Okay, say RDS CALs means client access licenses, and if the application also is required, okay, even if the application also required the licensing, then definitely we required application licensing model also we need to support, because Citrix is not a license cracking kind of software for the applications. Definitely we need to respect which of the application, if it is not required license, then no need to worry. If that application required the license also, when we are delivering to the multiple users, definitely application license also comes into the picture. Application licensing also so comes into the picture here. Okay, and on the end user side, definitely we required workspace app. Previously it's called as online agent or Citrix receiver. Okay, so in order to receive the ICA protocol, we required workspace app. And administration wise, we are using Studio, and Web Studio also we have, and Citrix Studio. Then director, mostly support team, L1, L2 engineers or monitoring team, observability team, help desk guys, mostly they are L1 guys, okay, are going to monitor the environment, need to check the health checks of the environment, troubleshoot the issues, networking issues, or maybe database related or latency related, all those information in the enterprise level we need monitoring. Otherwise, it's very tough to identify the or to troubleshoot the issues. Okay, so that's the reason we require very good knowledge on the director, and we should able to verify some metrics in order to troubleshoot the issues. And what happens if the license server goes down? Okay, so what happens if the license server goes down is, even if the license server goes down, there is no impact to the users. Even if the license server goes down also, there is no impact to the users, because we have a grace period is there. So without having the downtime, we can deliver the desktops also. And I want to create, in the previous example, we took 100 VDA on servers we required, or 10,000 VDA on desktops we required, assume. Then we no need of 100 servers or 10,000 VDA on servers also. In this use case also, most of the infrastructure we are going to keep in the hypervisor. Okay, even PBS, MCS also supports hypervisor environment, and we have the hypervisors we have is either Gen server from Citrix, or this itself is called as a Citrix hypervisor, or vSphere, or vCenter we can call. Okay, and that hypervisor from there is ESXi server, or like we can have a Gen server or VMware kind of thing, or Azure also, cloud base also we can use, or Hyper-V also. See, anywhere we can host our infrastructure. So even Citrix supports physical also, but we don't get much benefits with the physical. Mostly we need a hypervisor, and in the hybrid kind of environment, nowadays lot of companies are moving this infrastructure into cloud also. Maybe to Azure or AWS also, we are not using the local hypervisors. In both the environments, we need to support. Both the environments, we need to support in this use case. Okay, so mostly our infrastructure required one or more hypervisors. That's maybe Citrix Gen Server, and the Gen Center we will have vSphere or vCenter. Then we'll have the ESXi server, or we can use Microsoft Azure, or on-premises we can have Microsoft Hyper-V also. Okay, Azure having or Microsoft having on-premises also, HCI, those kind of infrastructures also we can use. So going forward, only on-premises we don't have, hybrid kind of environments we are getting, and for that purpose, Citrix has given Citrix cloud kind of solutions also. So those also will try to integrate with this. Okay.
Okay, Shrikant.
So
Okay.
then we'll discuss the enumeration and launch process or delivery process. Then we'll go for the installations and configurations, publishing, all those we'll discuss. Okay.